get to some Python on hardware.
It's time for that blinka, 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 blinka.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Okay, first up,
Ohio. It happened.
It did happen, and Kattni did a keynote.
Ooh.
And you're probably wondering, well, what did everyone think of the keynote?
I'm sure they loved it.
They did. So we have this in our newsletter, and I just wanted to read one of the bits of tweeting. And this is from Carol, but all the tweets were pretty much like this. Every community should be lucky to have someone as caring and inspiring as Kattni. I'm so glad that you're part of the Python, CircuitPython, an open learning community at Adafruit.
That's so kind.
And Kattni was the one who came up with code plus community equals CircuitPython. So if and when there is a video of the keynote, we'll post it up, but also check out our weekly newsletter. Big news, CircuitPython snakes its way to
STM32.
STM32.
That's right. We did our first pull request for the STM32. I mean, it might not be this exact board. I don't know exactly.
It probably won't be, but this is the
but
photo
it's the STM32 F4 series. We started adding support. Right now it's just UART, REPL, Digital I/O. But we will be, yes, I think the F11. So it was the other one, not this one, but the previous one. And we're going to start adding all the peripherals. We're going to add USB. We have TiNi USB support for the STM32 F4 coming along. So we want to support some of the most popular boards out there that are using the STM32 F series. So we may not have the most fully featured release out, but we will at least get the basics going in the next month.
We will have CircuitPython on every chip, everywhere possible. Next week, 8/8/2019 is CircuitPython Day. We have a bunch of stuff planned. There's also a bunch of stuff going on planet Earth.
Yes.
NYC Resistor. This Saturday, August 3rd, getting started programming with microcontrollers with CircuitPython. Brent's going to be doing this. It's Saturday, August 3rd, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Check that out. In India, there's going to be a getting started with CircuitPython show and tell, cake cutting, hackathon. It's at the Delhi Technical University for Women. There's also other events that are coming up. This is a project specifically from that group, light painting that they're going to be doing during that event for CircuitPython Day.
Looks cool.
And we'll have some special giveaways and more. Stay tuned to the blog and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube.
This is the first annual.
Yeah, we're going to do one every year.
We're going to do it every year, but we're starting small.
Caitlin's dad already jumped on the CircuitPython. They're like, be a Pi board. So this is a wearable CircuitPython powered board-like entity.
Yeah.
Other news in Magpie, Maker Melissa has a super great article, and it's all about controlling servos with CircuitPython and Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, this is part of our Blinka initiative to get all of our CircuitPython drivers running on single board Linux computers. We have, I think, like 20 different single board Linux computers currently supported, and every week new ones come out, and we're going to get them, and we're going to get them working.
Some CircuitPython in the news. Hackspace Magazine, they did a review of CircuitPython 4.1. It's super fast, and they also posted their testing suite, their benchmarking. And normally we don't care about that, but since it's 10 out of 10 and it's super fast,
we're not going to say no.
I'm not going to turn down awesome, fast, speedy coverage about our stuff. So check that out. Both Magpie and Hackspace are available download for free, but you can also subscribe. If you subscribe to Hackspace Magazine, you get a Circuit Playground Express. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. We have STEM and STEMQT, how to connect up all these sensors with Arduino, with CircuitPython, with Linux. Easiest way possible. We'll go into that a little bit later in the show. CircuitPython snakes its way to Snack. Snack is a Python-like language, and not only do we have it in circuitpython.org/downloads, but we have some coverage on our newsletter and on our blog. It is one of the latest boards supported by CircuitPython too.
Yep.
So you can use Snack or you can use CircuitPython. Over on GitHub, if you're curious about the roadmap for the next set of features in micropython, which is what CircuitPython comes from, you can check it out and you can see what Damien, the creator, and some of the core developers are thinking about doing. It's on GitHub. Now's the time to add your feature requests. At Pi Ohio, there were some people who rolled in with their own CircuitPython powered devices. This was Nina's demo, and this was from Daryl. So this is how many days are left of Python 2 until it is over January 21st.
Come on, everybody, move to Python 3. It's time.
Daryl also made his own name badge using CircuitPython and PyGamer. Also in the news, it was a big news week here. In Hackspace Magazine, in addition to the CircuitPython article about how fast it is, there was an article about air quality monitor using Adafruit IO. Over, I think this is in New Jersey, Coder Dojo used Turtle Graphics on a PyPortal, and what's cool is all the same code that they use on a Chromebook that works on a device is all the same.
Yeah, what's neat is that they're running Turtle, like the logo, Python logo, on a PyPortal, which is the thing in the lower right, so you see like the purple dots and the green lines, but they're coding it using Coder Dojo, which I've never seen before.
Yeah,
but
it's a blocky editor.
It's a block editor, but they added Turtle to it, which is neat.
And this is really neat because we're seeing a convergence of all these things. And if you look over to the left, CircuitPython, CircuitPython Express NeoPixel, Fancy LED, Adafruit Turtle. So you can code once and it runs everywhere. We'll be talking about that next week, CircuitPython Day. Also in Hackspace Magazine, Adafruit Perma Proto hat. It's 10 out of 10. We have a nice trend going on here. Also over the weekend was the Game Devs Expo. We gave away a bunch of badges, and you can follow the tweets and more. This was super cool. So thank you everyone, including Red Hat IBM, who helped us sponsor.
And they tweeted it, and it looked like a super fun party.
Yeah. Also over on Crowd Supply, if you're interested in SAMD51 support, you can learn how the folks over at
RoboHat.
Robot Masters.
Yeah.
Added CircuitPython to.
Yeah, look, it works.
Yeah.
It's blinking.
Yeah,
that means it works.
Tell.
Yes, they updated it to the M4, which is great. We have M4 support.
This is neat. You know a lot about this. So
PyWheels.
PyWheels, they have 10 million downloads. But what is PyWheels Radiated? Because this is like one of the most useful things for the Raspberry Pi community.
Yeah.
But we also track our stuff with it too.
Yes.
So what is PyWheels?
PyWheels. So whenever you have whenever you have Python code, you tend to distribute libraries through PyPI, which is the package indexing for libraries. So we have 100 or more libraries, sensors, devices, OLEDs, whatever, all registered through PyPI. When people have to install those libraries on a Raspberry Pi, there's often some compilation steps or configuration or things that have to get done to the code to make it ready for use with Python. And so everybody would have to go through that step. Even though everyone has the same Raspberry Pi, you'd have to go through that step on each Pi. So what PyWheel does is they save everybody time, but they do all the time-consuming stuff for you. And if you're using a Raspberry Pi to download this code, it's pre-compiled, it's ready to go, and it's ready to install. So they think they've saved collectively like hundreds of hours or even years of time because there's just millions of people downloading Python code, and they get it faster and they get it ready to go for Raspberry Pi. So just a better experience for everybody thanks to the folks at PyWheels.
Next up, we are really interested in getting HyperCard running on modern microcontrollers. On the way to that, there's a few things that have to happen. So we're working with Nicholas, who does Moo.
Yeah.
And there's a new feature that's added that'll be documented shortly. And it's how to do interactive fiction and Python Your Own Adventures.
Yeah.
And Nicholas is looking for feedback. We're calling this HyperCard for now, but you'll be able to do HyperCard-like experiences where you use a JSON file, however, because this is 2019, and you tell the JSON file, here's where the buttons, here's the images, here's all the different things to use, and then it renders on something like a PyPortal. Or in this case, you can use Moo, and here's a little video that Nicholas posted. That this is all coded in Moo, and then it would run exactly like this on a PyPortal. So this is really cool. So this is only 40 lines of code.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that it's HyperCard is so inspiring, and they used HyperTalk, which is very interesting, programming language. But what if we use Python as the back end? And I think in this case, he's using Python. Is it WixPython? No, PyQt.
Also, Moo, the latest one supports Flask. So this is getting really interesting because the thing that HyperCard was missing was the internet, because there wasn't the internet.
That's right. That's the one thing they didn't have was there was no good internet support. And there's also Python is so rich You know, you can play videos, and you can
they say batteries
grab
included
data.
sometimes.
Batteries included. You can
Yeah.
have even Turtle running in it. So
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because he's like, hey, we've got this language that isn't that like it's a scripting language like HyperTalk, and what if we use that as the basis for a HyperCard-like experience? Because
Yeah.
HyperCard, I was writing HyperCard games when I was in grade school, and if I was not a great coder then, but I was able to stitch together and make games. It was so cool, and there's nothing quite like it.
That's right. So what we hope is there'll be a whole new generation of young people or people who want to get into computer programming, and they'll have a HyperCard-like experience. And for us old-timers, we know what that means. Oh, a HyperCard-like experience? Oh, wow, that was super fun. I spent more time making the things I wanted to make.
I think like now we have a glitch. We have things that are similar online, but I think it still is fun to make something that's portable. You know, like
Yeah.
something for a self-enclosed electronic device.
I think when you're using computers, they kind of do too much. You do taxes on them. You get terrible emails. It's work-related or something.
Yeah.
You don't have the fun time as much. Where
Can
it's
you imagine
like,
if there was HyperCard for iOS? Oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing?
well, we'll talk about some of our iOS work, but we're getting really close. Like all these pieces are converging.
Yeah.
In fact, we even will talk about a video that Andy Hertzfeld posted
Yeah.
over the weekend.
It's
It's a
all-
YouTube account.
it's
oh my
all-
gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
It's all
Anyways.
HyperTalk all
Okay.
the time.
So anyways,
What
that's
else?
coming up. That's it. That's our. I just wanted to focus on those things. That's our news for the week for Python on hardware. Check out Adafruit Daily. We send out this newsletter every week. We have it on our blog. This is also a standalone video. There's a lot going on.